Welcome to Talking Up Music Education, a podcast from the NAMM Foundation. The NAMM Foundation is working to assure that all children have the opportunity to learn and grow with music, and that music is part of daily living for everyone. Talking Up Music Education podcast shares news and stories about music education from teachers, students, parents, school, and community leaders who care about music education and are working to create more opportunities for music learning. And now, here's your host, Mary Lurson.
Hello, everyone. This is Mary Lurson, Executive Director of the NAMM Foundation, coming to you live from the NAMM Show. It is Saturday, January 21, and we are on day 3 of NAMM Show 2017, having a wonderful sunny day here on the Grand Plaza with probably our busiest day that happens at the NAMM Show. And we are open Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, but this seems to be our peak enthusiasm day here at the NAMM Show. So we started this today with the Grand Rally for Music Education in our NAMM Foundation lounge up in the Hilton Ballroom. And we opened up our program with an absolutely remarkable presentation by the Perfect Fourth Quartet, which is a ensemble that's presented and sponsored by the Sphinx Organization. And I'm delighted to have the Director of Education for the Sphinx Organization, Xavier Verna, with me. Welcome, Xavier.
Thank you for having me, Mary. It's a pleasure, yeah.
All the way from?
Detroit, Michigan.
So you're headquartered there?
Yes.
The Sphinx Organization is there. Tell us about this remarkable organization.
Well, we've been around for 20 years now. And I've been with the organization for almost 5 years in my full-time capacity, but I learned about them very quickly after I moved to Michigan to attend the University of Michigan School of Music, Theater, and Dance. So we have so much that we offer, and our main mission is to transform the lives of people through the power of diversity in the arts. And I think this morning was a really great example of that mission being in a reality for a lot of the audience members. I think the kids, this is, their second time performing together after the summer program. And, they got to play this same piece at the White House. And, now they're playing on stage with major artists like Black Violin. And I think that it's important to realize that Sphinx has, at this point, really made a significant impact in the world of classical music and beyond that as well.
So Sphinx was founded by a remarkable man, Aaron Dworkin, who is now the dean at the University of Michigan School of Music. And I've had the pleasure of knowing him and actually knowing him early in the development of Sphinx. Yeah. And it really had a very deliberate purpose, was to create a platform for talented Latino and African American string players to achieve their highest potential and to be recognized that way. And it has an annual competition. Can you tell us a little more about the competition itself?
Yeah, it's actually one of the programs I oversee in my role as Director of Education. So the National Sphinx Competition was what the organization was founded on. The idea that there was a lack of diversity in American orchestras is what propelled Aaron to start a competition in Ann Arbor with the Ann Arbor Symphony and put the spotlight on the talented African American and Latino musicians that are out there, where some people just didn't think they existed. Aaron really believed that they were out there and they just were not being given the same opportunities that his other colleagues were getting at University of Michigan. And so that was the start of it, and now the competition features some of the top Black and Latino musicians from around the country. They compete for a top prize of $50,000. The musicians
and
representation from Sphinx. So after they win, they get management from Sphinx to solo with major orchestras across the country. And we're talking about New York Philharmonic, Chicago Symphony, San Francisco, Detroit Symphony. I mean, all over the place. And it's pretty remarkable. And so that was, what the organization was founded on. So this year.
I think one of the black violin was a winner.
That's right. That's right. Kev Marcus. He was in 2000. He was one of the semifinalists that year. And so, we're very proud to have impacted his life with that competition. And I think that he recognized that on stage this morning as well. So I think, one of the exciting things for us and with this competition is that we'll be celebrating our 20th anniversary this upcoming February during also our global convening on diversity in the arts. So it's Sphinx Connect this year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So we're, and because we're bringing, over 200 of our alumni to Detroit, to celebrate with us. So we're seeing the timeline of Sphinx, right? So people from the very beginning all the way up to now representing, the Sphinx Organization in Detroit, February 9th through the 12th.
And those winners, those participants in the early days have gone on to have chairs in major orchestras, and they're teaching in universities, and they're arts management leadership positions, and right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they are just
all different career paths. I think it's important to understand too that you didn't have to be a winner of the Sphinx competition to achieve the things that they have these days. I mean, a lot of them have started their own organizations, or they're playing in major orchestras. And, they will be with us too. They will be, they have a speaking role because now, they're a product of Sphinx and they are continuing our mission in their communities. And that's really important to celebrate.
One of the earliest experiences I had with Sphinx in the early days, and I haven't gone every year to the finals concert competition, but was the assembling in the early years of an all-minority orchestra.
Yeah, that's right. The Sphinx Symphony Orchestra.
And this was pretty eye-opening.
Yeah.
That the major, the professional players from symphonies would sort of, get substitutes for a couple of days and come to Detroit. Yep. And it was a remarkable musical experience to hear them play together.
Yeah, it is. And I've had the privilege to play with them as well. And that's actually how I was introduced to the organization. My first experience was playing with the Sphinx Symphony. And that made me realize that when I was in a room with other people who look like me, I realized wow, I feel like I matter, and I feel like I belong somewhere, like in the classical world. There are other people like me doing the things that I thought, in my early years at school, I want to be in an orchestra. I could actually do this, So it was very inspiring.
I think the program being at 20 years old has really inspired a lot of people. So when did it branch out into the youth program like we saw today? We saw this perfect fourth quartet with four young gentlemen at 12, 13, and 15 playing Mendelssohn String Quartet, Opus 86th movement. I was corrected by one of them. I love that. But they played it with such passion, and they'd only come together last summer for the first time. Yep. So what is that program, and when does Sphinx start its outreach and youth programs?
It's been about 13 years that program has been alive, and it started at Walnut Hill in Natick, Massachusetts, just outside of Boston. So they were our first partner that helped us realize this program for students ages 12 to 17 from all over the country who play violin, viola, or cello to come for 2 weeks and play chamber music and take private lessons with our Sphinx alumni as well. So that, anybody who came through the Sphinx competition was essentially asked to contribute back, and so that's a really special thing about Sphinx too, is we call that La Familia, right? So everyone's very tight, everyone, knows each other, and we help each other out a lot. And ever since then, the program has grown tremendously. We've formed really fantastic partnerships. This year, we're going to be at Roosevelt University in Chicago, Illinois for 2 weeks, and then also at the Cleveland Institute of Music for 2 weeks. And that's a new partnership that we formed and we're very excited about. And so the program is really trying to help kids with their confidence level and just feeling like they have a place in this world of classical music, that if they really wanted to seriously pursue it, And our teachers help them too. They go out of their way out after the program ends to, work with them, do some Skype lessons, because we all believe in the mission. We all believe that these kids should have the same opportunities that their peers are having.
Well, and we heard this morning, and you can go online and see the video of the Grand Rally and see the video of the Perfect Fourth playing Mendelssohn. And there's just they're extraordinary talent.
Yeah.
I mean, and the fact that it's being nurtured and supported, and all of their parents came.
Yeah,
it was just so lovely to meet all of their parents, and we know that it takes a motivated parent and then the right circumstances. But if you want to build your confidence, you go play chamber music.
Yeah.
I mean, it's undeniable. You're going to have a standalone voice, and your voice has to carry that part, and you're going to, you're going to live or die.
And you learn how to hold each other accountable.
Right.
That's another really important aspect of it.
And then they ended our grand rally with a number with the black violin.
Yeah,
and
that was awesome.
I hope they had fun.
They totally did. You could see it in their faces.
Did they think they could play hip hop as part of their violin lessons?
I think some of them were surprised by their lifestyle a little bit, because we were talking with them in the green room before the performance, and they were just sharing. The black violin duo was just sharing like some of their stories, and
they're living on a tour bus now.
And like they have an electronic violin, or how they have headphones and listen into themselves that way, and it's just like they were very fascinated by it.
And they were their peers. They're classically trained violinists.
Yeah,
there's
exactly.
that have taken it to that genre, that style level, and that's
totally. I think that's
and that's what's so exciting to me.
Yeah, that
you've got this. It's you can go. You're not sacrificing quality. You need the rigorous training. You need the thoughtful training.
Yep. Definitely. So. Yeah.
So you're out working in Detroit with this wonderful organization. You yourself are a percussionist, you said?
Yeah. I started percussion at U of M, and music education as well.
Oh, okay.
So
I think the Sphinx Organization has been such an inspiration. Are we making headway? Do you think there's a bigger understanding about, the role of Latino and African American performers in classical world? Is there boldness a little stronger? Families that want this for their children, are they finding you and they're feeling empowered and they're finding the network of programs?
Absolutely. Every year, because I do a lot of the recruiting for our youth programs, every year I get in touch with a few parents who hadn't heard about Sphinx, but they're so relieved that there's something out there like that, an opportunity that is unique, that will propel their career. Think about the Perfect Fourth, right? They had just participated in our summer program, and the next performance was at the White House
with the National Youth Art and Humanities Awards.
Yeah,
which the NAMM Foundation is so honored to support.
Right,
be there with them.
Yeah, and
I heard them. Yeah.
Check out that resume. Right? They're 12 to 15, and, they can put White House performance in front of our former First Lady, Michelle Obama. I think that is the incredible power of the arts that it has on kids, on youth.
And we just have to keep putting it out there and celebrate it and be relentlessly positive.
Absolutely.
And let people be expressive about it. Right?
It was a good rally. I'm fired up.
Are you fired up?
I'm fired up.
I'm a little tired myself, but I'm pretty.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful way to come together here at the NAMM show to affirm our commitment to music education.
Absolutely.
And to have all those organizations that are there, and now Sphinx included, to be just saying to each other, we're going to support each other. We're going to go out and make music education powerful and strong.
Absolutely.
We had a great conversation with Black Violin Duo earlier. And they're out there as ambassadors for the program.
Totally.
And interacting even with their own home community with concerns that it might be dropping off a little bit. I said, you got to go back. You got to go back and be the voice of reinstatement, be the voice of expansion. We also know that music education is strong on many, many, many places, stronger than it's ever been. Mm-hmm. But there's a tremendous need for teachers.
Absolutely.
So there should be a lot of inspiration for Sphinx alumni to go out and
I think that's one of
find their way.
Yeah, that's actually one of the key reasons why we invite our artists to come back and teach during our summer program. We also have alumni who teach our local programming in Detroit and in Flint, which was the program that received the NAHIP award, the Sphinx Overture program. And so, yeah, it is very important for them to go out and teach. And you really have to have that entrepreneurial spirit about your career as a musician. You have to be able to teach, play, and get creative, because it's a job. It's a big responsibility. It's a big role that you're stepping into when you decide you want to be a musician. It's not just about playing, and even when you're playing on stage, you're educating people. Your image is important and makes an impact in different communities. So it's a big role that we step into, and we support our alumni as much as we can so that they can do that in their communities.
It's wonderful. Please send our warmest regards back to everybody at the Sphinx Organization. Absolutely. This is your first time at the NAMM show?
It is.
What do you think?
It's crazy. There's so many people here. I heard there was 100,000 people here.
It's a little over.
A little, yeah, just a little.
We like to say 100,000 of our closest friends.
Yes. It's pretty remarkable what you have going on here, and I'm sad I wasn't here before. It's been pretty eye-opening. The exhibit hall is enormous. There's a lot of stuff that
technology pieces is quite inspiring.
Yeah.
What's ahead for our kids, right? What our kids are going to be able to walk into and take that basic music training into and be able to create.
And I noticed there were a lot of opportunities for youth ensembles to come play here, and I think that's really critical and important for them to get that type of exposure to, the many different important people that are around here, and just watching them, And so I'm very grateful, Mary, for you and your invitation to come play at the NAMM show. I know the kids loved it. Sphinx is grateful for all your support and during our entire history.
Well, I really hope this is the beginning in your 20th year of a new relationship with NAMM, because we would like to have you all back here in some capacity year to year. And the world needs to know what you're doing.
Absolutely.
As I said years ago when we provided one of the first supports in another capacity I was working in, that I really believe that the Sphinx Organization is one of those bellwether entities that is changing the face of music in the world.
Yeah.
And we needed that energy.
Yeah.
And I will forever have great admiration for Aaron and the organization, AFA, your current president, and all that you're doing.
Yes.
And we wish you good luck in all of your future ventures. And I know you'll be taking this great spirit with you wherever you go.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mary. Pleasure.
So we thank Xavier for being with us here from the Sphinx Organization. Where can they find you online? Tell us all the handles.
So sphinxmusic.org is the name of our website. You can also check us out on Twitter and on Instagram at Sphinx Music, and you can find us on Facebook at Sphinx Organization. So we hope to see you there.
So thank you all for joining us for this edition of Talking at Music Education, the third day here at NAMM Show 2017, January 21st. So we'll see you next time. I think we have more podcasts coming your way tomorrow, the final day of the NAMM Show. This is Talking at Music Education, a podcast of the NAMM Foundation.
The NAMM Foundation would like to thank Vocal Booth for their support in providing a recording booth for these podcasts recorded live at NAMM Show 2017. Whether you're recording, rehearsing, tracking, mixing, or overdubbing, Vocal Booth has a solution that's right for you. Learn more at vocalbooth.com.
Talking Up Music Education is a podcast created by the NAMM Foundation. To learn more about how you can support music education in your community or how you can be part of the work of the NAMM Foundation, visit our website, www.nammfoundation.org, or join us on Facebook at facebook.com/NAMM Foundation. You can also follow Mary on Twitter